Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to thee. On this episode, we review IDW's Transformers Shattered Glass number 3, try to figure out how a plagiarized licensed Transformers art piece got past Hasbro's quality control, and is Robert Kirkman's Skybound Entertainment the future of Transformers comics? Today is Friday, December 17th, 2021, and this is episode 264 of Transmissions Alt Mode. Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that eagerly awaits the inevitable Walking Dead Invincible Transformers crossover. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Apollo, aka Robo Apollo.
Hi, what's up, everyone?
And Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going? Let's talk Transformers.
Always sounds weird when it's not Daryl.
I know.
Always.
It sounds weird when it is Daryl too, but it's the consistent. It's consistently weird.
Yeah, it's the normal weird.
Yes.
All right. As always, we start out the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all for continuing to help us out and keep the show running. We really appreciate it. And, thanks for coming back month after month. If you are a fan of our Transformers live play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust, we've got the next episode coming out this Monday, December 20th. So just, a couple days. This is episode 65. When the party's over, it's over. And this is the conclusion to the trial of Magnum arc, I should say. And this was the regular episode that will be available to everyone. Of course, if you are already a Donatreon, you have access to the early bonus episode with all the stuff left on the cutting room floor still in the episode, so completely uncut. That came out this week, but the regular episode will just be out in a couple of days, so you'll have access to it. Apollo, does this mark the end of your guest role on Empire of Rust, or do we still have you for a few more episodes?
I actually don't remember the episode numbers. I think this is the end of my guest role on there, though, if I recall correctly.
All right. Well, you did a great job. I think everyone really liked your unique take on Prosecutor Alonia and her distinctive accent. Which,
thank you.
Was very fun.
I'm glad that so many people enjoyed my voice acting. I hadn't really done voice acting before, but Mike was a great coach.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So and I don't want to spoil anything, but it seems like Alonia it's at first it seemed like she was kind of just she's diligently doing her job. She's a prosecutor out for to win her case, but at the end of this episode, I don't know. There's a little hint that there's more than meets the eye with Alonia. So I don't
Agreed.
know. Maybe she'll be back. We'll see. All right. Well, everyone, make sure you keep listening to Empire of Rust, and we will move on and jump right into some comics news. Okay. First up, we've got the line art for the Alex Milne cover of the next issue of the main Transformers series. So this is Transformers issue number 39. And this is cover A. And Alex Milne's awesome design. This is it looks like Megatron holding a melting Decepticon symbol in his hand,
He's holding Cybertron.
Oh, it's Cybertron. Okay, yeah.
Like the Energon is forming the Decepticon symbol.
I see. Yeah, it's a cool image, very evocative.
In the background, are those supposed to be kind of like screaming faces?
It looks like that to me.
Yeah.
It's very creepy and really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. It's definitely it's more prominent in the line art, but yeah, it definitely looks that way. So yeah, it's cool that Alex Milne put the line art on his Twitter, so everyone can see that and see. And he's also I guess doing his own colors now, so we see how show how his how he added in the colors here. So we'll look forward to that. And since it's cover A, this will be the most distributed cover, so you should definitely have a chance to pick it up. All right. We've also got solicitations for February 2022, and no real surprises coming up, just the two ongoing series that we currently have. We have the main Transformers series at issue 40, and then Beast Wars at issue 13. With issue 40 coming in February, that means that if we stick to the monthly schedule, issue 50 of Transformers should happen in December of 2022, which is interesting given the next bit of news we have. And this continues our our discussions of the rumors of whether IDW is going to lose the Transformers and other Hasbro licenses in 2022. Because we have an article from the Hollywood Reporter that is reporting that Skybound Entertainment is in talks to actually acquire the G.I. Joe and Transformers publishing license. And this Skybound Entertainment is Robert Kirkman's imprint, part of Image Comics. And Robert Kirkman is well known to be a Transformers fan and was involved in the Transformers writing room, albeit very briefly, back in I guess it was like 2016 when they were generating ideas for the next movie.
It was before the last movie, before Bumblebee.
Yeah, the last night was 2017.
The last night. Yeah.
So I'm assuming the writers' room was maybe 2015 or 2016 when they spun that up. So yeah, I mean, if true, this is a bit of a bombshell that Skybound and of course this will be part of Image Comics taking up the Transformers license. I imagine, and also the article says this won't happen until 2023. So if that's true, then you would have the Transformers comics done by IDW ending at the end of 2022, which seems rather, a nice. I guess it's a nice milestone to have it end at issue number 50, if that is in fact ending at the end of the year. So. But I guess, this is everything is still rumors and speculation, so we don't really have any concrete word of this. I mean, Hollywood Reporter is, I'd say, pretty reliable, more reliable than, I guess, Bleeding Cool.
Yeah, it's a step up in legitimacy.
Yeah, but we still do not have any official word from either Hasbro or IDW about this. And Skybound also said no comment in the article, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and what I have seen lately with, licenses have moved, like when Marvel's picked up a couple, I do think that it's announced, and I don't think there's like a big gap. I mean, there is definitely a gap, but I don't think there's a huge gap between one publisher and the next, at least if I'm remembering right. So hopefully we can get to that number 50 and have it cap off with like a celebration of like everything IDW's done, because they have been a fairly good steward of the brand, since they've had the license. It's introduced a lot of really cool things, and if it does move on, it's not like a situation with Dreamwave where basically the company just went dumb and blew up.
Right.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to find out if these rumors are confirmed true or not. Yeah,
I think we'll probably just be waiting. We probably won't get any official word until the middle of next year, I would guess. At the last minute is probably whenever January solicitations for 2023 come out. That's probably when you'll have, real concrete. If they don't say anything before then, and you don't see any Transformers comics listed for January 2023, I guess that's your answer.
Right.
But that wouldn't be until October of next year. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But my hope would be that whatever new thing they do with Transformers, if Skybound does take it up, is that they do hire, give work to all the artists that have been working on Transformers for the last 10 or 15 years. Like, all our favorites, Alex Milne, Casey Collar, Guido Guidi, new favorites, Anna Malkova, Beth McGuire-Smith. I think all these folks deserve, Josh Burcham, Josh Perez, all the guys we've seen at conventions lots of times have been, these guys are really awesome Transformers artists, and I hope they still can continue to get work. So, yeah,
I mean, and as we've seen, and something we're going to be talking about in media news later, drawing Transformers isn't the easiest thing. You can have a really great artist that does human characters, but it does take a special skill, I believe, to draw Transformers well. And there's such a good stable of artists right now that do very unique and very great work on you look at what Bertram's doing in Beast Wars versus what Livio does, what Alex does, and Anna does. I mean, they're all great and they're all different, and it would be a shame to lose some of that.
Yeah, I agree. I really, that's my biggest concern is if they're going to hire the existing artists that can draw robots, as someone who's an artist and who draws Transformers, they're hard to draw, and it takes a lot of skill to draw them. And so I really hope they do hire these artists that we have, and that we enjoy their work and getting to meet them at conventions.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, that's our comics news, and yeah, we'll keep updating the situation as more things come to light. But yeah, we'll just have to keep watching and waiting. But let's jump into our comic review for this week. So this week we are reviewing Transformers Shattered Glass #3. Imagine a world where the Autobots are the bad guys and Decepticons are the good guys. And that's Shattered Glass. Written by Danny Lohr, art by Guido Guidi, colors by John Paul Bove, letters by Neil Uyetake, editor Riley Farmer, supervising editor David Marriott, and design by Jake Wood and Johanna Natalie. So we got 4 covers for this week. Cover A is Alex Milne's reimagining of the classic Marvel Transformers #25 cover. The original cover for Marvel was Megatron at the center being attacked by all the Predacons. And so this cover reimagines that as Starscream being ambushed by the Autobots. Cover B is Starscream navigating Metroplex's Mindscape, and this is art by Fico Asio. And then the retailer incentive cover is a close-up of Starscream by Sarah Peter Durocher. And then we had the Hasbro Pulse exclusive cover. That is the cover that is going with the pack-in comic that comes with the Starscream figure. And this is Starscream in Flight by Casey Collar. So, Apollo, which of these 4 covers would you pick as your favorite?
Oh, you're making me pick one. They all have Starscream on them. This is really hard. Honestly, between all of them, I really like the Alex Milne cover the best. I really like all the details in it, and Starscream's doesn't look too good for him in this situation, but I thought it had the most energy of all the covers, and I just really like the color scheme and everything about it.
Cool. All right, Jeremy, which cover are you picking?
I think I'm also going with the Alex Milne, but these are all really cool. I mean, I love, Fico's kind of gives me a Into the Spider-Verse kind of vibe, and I thought that was really cool, but just the detail and just there's something about the Alex cover that I just really like.
All right, and I will make it unanimous and also pick the Alex Milne cover. I really appreciate the homage. This harkens back to the comics that I collected in the 80s as a kid, and that Transformers 25 cover. it's funny because that was the one issue that was like in my gap of comics I was collecting. I was trying to get the entire run of the original Marvel Transformers comics, and this is back in the 80s when there's no eBay, there's no internet to track down stuff. You just had to go to comic shops and go to local conventions and things and look through their back catalog, and I could never find Transformers 25, and this is the one that was really focused on Megatron and Megatron getting attacked by the Predacons as part of it was a plot by Shockwave to basically usurp Megatron's leadership, and it was just a cool issue, and I never could find it. And then I think my family went on vacation one summer and just happened to find a comic shop in the vacation town, like a beach town we were in, and it was there, so I picked it up. So that gives me all those fond memories seeing this cover and seeing Alex's reimagining of it with Starscream in that role and all the detail and everything and modernization that he's done for this cover. So yeah, it's just a really cool image. All right, well, let's talk about the story. Starscream has convinced former Decepticon leader Megatron to rejoin the fight for Cybertron. Their new mission takes them to Gold City, the Autobot stronghold that is the domain of the cruel warlord Goldbug. They make their way through the city in disguise, looking for their contact. It isn't long before they find old friends, Laserbeak and Ravage. Ravage leads them to a secret passage that takes them to the hideout of their old comrade, Soundwave. Soundwave continues to operate in the shadows as a Decepticon radio. He maintains a network of Decepticon communication to keep track of all the cons still in hiding or underground. He maintains secure radio frequencies to monitor his fellow Decepticons and give them aid if they need it. With Soundwave's help, they'll rouse more Decepticons back to the cause now that they have a chance of winning. Starscream is the key now that he potentially has within his spark the power to wake a Titan, Metroplex. Starscream's thoughts bring him back to a time long before the war when he was still a scientist working with his friend Jetfire. The very day Megatron was being arrested for civil disobedience and protesting the tyranny of the Cybertronian government, they were lobbying the Senate to get more funding for their research into the Titans of Cybertron. Starscream is disturbed by the treatment of the miners led by Megatron, but Jetfire is oblivious. He's preoccupied with their next meeting with another senator that could lead to support for their work. That senator is Orion Pax. It seems Orion is already convinced that Jetfire and Starscream's work has merit, but he's not merely interested in preserving Cybertron's history. Orion Pax expects their work to lead to the ability to wake and even control a Titan. That would ensure power and control of Cybertron for the one who could take advantage of that discovery. Orion Pax tells them he can help with the funding they need, but there's a condition. The research cannot be published and distributed. Their results must remain confidential to their direct supporters in the government. Starscream balks at this stipulation and immediately rejects Orion Pax's offer. Starscream ends the meeting, dragging Jetfire out with him. Sometime later, Starscream and Jetfire fly out to the dig site where they are trying to excavate the dormant Titan Metroplex. They ultimately did get some funding to continue their work, even after rejecting Orion Pax's shady offer. Starscream is excited because they finally made progress. The full head of Metroplex has been uncovered, and they can now work on being able to wake and maybe even communicate with him. Starscream dreams of the accolades they'll soon receive. Jetfire says they've still got a lot of work, and it looks like interpreting Metroplex's brain signals will be more complicated and time-consuming than they originally thought. Jetfire is still worried their funding will run out before they can make real progress. He again broaches the subject of getting support from Orion Pax. Starscream immediately shoots him down again. Orion Pax only cares about using their discoveries to gain power and control. They can't let their work be corrupted by him. Starscream demands Jetfire promise him he won't let that happen. Back in the present, Starscream and Megatron sit in the back of a bar, planning their next move. Starscream wants to figure out how to wake the Titan and then make a statement to rally support for the Decepticon cause. He thinks if they can show they have a real chance, more bots disillusioned with Autobot rule will come to support them. But Megatron is more concerned with their present situation. Starscream didn't notice a small cassette attached to their table in the bar, but Megatron did. Megatron flips the table, exposing the spy's cassette. Eject, one of Blaster's minions. Eject transforms and signals his master for backup. Suddenly, Blaster and his minions are there, ready to take both Megatron and Starscream and collect the hefty bounty Goldbug has put on their heads. The battle is on. Starscream and Megatron fight back, but they are both not at full strength, and they're outnumbered. Before they can be overwhelmed, Megatron orders Starscream to escape while he provides a distraction to discover his getaway. Starscream hesitates for a moment, but he follows orders and takes the opportunity to fly out of the building and into the open sky. Starscream's loyalty to Megatron and the Decepticons tears him apart. He wants to stay and help Megatron, but the power in his spark is too valuable to let the Autobots capture him. Megatron knew this, which is why he gave the order. This crisis of conscience triggers another flashback for Starscream. Back in the pre-war days, Starscream discovers Jetfire's betrayal. He has been working with Orion Pax and the Autobots behind his back, getting their support to continue their work. Starscream eavesdrops on one of their meetings, but he is discovered. The Autobots are already skeptical of Starscream and think he has Decepticon sympathies. Jetfire vouches for his friend that he is not and tells Starscream to denounce them. Starscream hesitates, but he tells Jetfire directly. While he is not a Decepticon, he is definitely not an Autobot and is against their tyranny. He thought Jetfire was better than this, but Jetfire has also sided with tyranny. Jetfire, enraged, sucker punches Starscream, knocking him to his feet. As Jetfire turns to face his fellow Autobots, Starscream takes the moment of opportunity to transform to his Tetrajet mode and escape by flying directly out of the glass window of the Autobots' conference room. Starscream quickly makes his way to the excavation site, determined not to let the Titan fall into the hands of the Autobots. He interfaces with Metroplex, scrambling the code and making waking the Titan or the reestablishment of communication nearly impossible. Jetfire and the Autobots arrive just a little too late to stop him. Jetfire rages at the loss of his research and vows he'll find Starscream and make him pay. Now, a few cycles ago, just before he recruited Megatron, Starscream returned to the Metroplex dig site. He hooks himself into the Metroplex system port and realizes his spark can now potentially wake Metroplex after all. And in the present, Starscream's getaway is cut short. He's shot out of the sky by unknown assailants. For a moment, Starscream hopes the Seekers have returned to give him support. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Goldbug has found him, along with his old friend, Jetfire. To be continued in the next issue. So I think Shattered Glass, it's been interesting. I mean, it's the role reversal of Autobots and Decepticons. It turns the Decepticons into the underdogs, which is a position they're usually not in. It's usually the scrappy Autobots having to take on a Decepticon, Decepticon conquerors. So it's interesting to see everything from the Decepticons' perspective, and Starscream as this hero and very loyal compatriot of Megatron, where usually Megatron and Starscream are at each other's throats. So it's an interesting take. I mean, I've always not been too big on Shattered Glass, just because I feel like it's a bit of a cliche. I mean, it's been done already in the when we had the BotCon and Transformers fan club magazine that really delved into the Shattered Glass concept, originated and delved into the Shattered Glass concept, and now this new take on it. I think it's a fun story, but it's still not enticing me to buy the figures or anything. But I'm curious to see how this story is going to end now that it looks like both at least Starscream is captured. Has Megatron been captured too? So maybe things won't turn out all right for the Decepticons in the end. I guess we'll see. The art is really great. I mean, Guido Guidi he really nails the kind of animation model, G1 animation model look. And then John Paul Bove's colors really make everything look great. I mean, especially it's kind of the palette swap of you put all the opposite colors on all the characters here. So it's really interesting. It's funny to see Goldbug still called Goldbug when he's not gold at all. He's all black, but I guess he has a little bit of gold highlights on the arms, but that's it. But yeah, it's I guess a fun side story. So, Apollo, what did you think of this? I mean, it's Starscream, but also it's kind of not Starscream. So is Starscream is a Starscream with a completely flipped personality still Starscream for you?
Yes and no. Like, it's just, a different version of the character. This is obviously, if he was a good person, or robot. But I really have been enjoying the Shatterglass comics, and I missed out on, like the BotCon days of Shattered Glass because I wasn't a fan of Transformers when BotCon was originally around. And I really enjoyed this issue. I think it's hilarious that they're wearing clothes, because I was just talking about this in the other show. And so, like, now I'm going to have to get, like, a red cape and hoodie for my Shattered Glass Starscream once he comes out. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting, seeing this version of Starscream, how he is so loyal and just devoted to what's best to, like Cybertron and whatnot. And, seeing the whole scientific side still and his relationship with Jetfire. I really enjoyed that and seeing their dynamic. Also what I thought was really cool was when his spark chamber is hooked up to Metroplex. I thought that was really cool, seeing how his cockpit opened up to show his spark chamber. Like, I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, the Guido Guidi on art duties in this issue just makes everything look great.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Like the man's like awesome at drawing Transformers and making them look G1-esque.
Yeah. All right. Jeremy, what did you think of this issue?
I'm really enjoying this series as well. And like you, I was kind of, over the whole Shatterglass concept, but this has been a really enjoyable series. And we always have to remember there are, people like Apollo that weren't around during the BotCon era. I mean, that's now been, 5-6 years now since the last BotCon. So this is all a brand new concept to a large amount of fans. And I think this is just, it's a fun series. I do think it's funny that they were in disguise wearing cloaks when no one else wears anything. So it's like you're sticking out just by, because you're wearing something. That was, I don't know, kind of silly, but I'm enjoying seeing the different takes on things like the switching sides of my brain just wants to say Skywarp, and that's wrong.
Jetfire?
Jetfire, yes. The switching sides of Jetfire, just seeing it how it always plays out in the regular Transformers and having it be so much more deliberate and violent in this version. It was really fun to watch. And I'm curious as to where the whole Metroplex thing is going to go. I think that's really an interesting concept. Since we always have that concept of Starscream having the indestructible spark, how is that going to play in with the whole Metroplex stuff and having the data? I don't know. But as a fan of lore stuff, this is hitting a lot of things that really kind of keep my interest. And then just seeing things like Blaster and all of his tapes and, just all the different characters that I don't think we've seen in other iterations of Shatterglass. And then on top of that, having like Guido's art and JP's coloring, I think it's a fantastic little mini series. I don't know if this is something that would ever last as an ongoing. I think the concept would wear itself out, but as a mini series, I think it's perfect. Just a standalone story. So yeah, this continues to be a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah. One thing I also want to mention was the reimagining of Soundwave as the Decepticon chief morale officer, and he's very concerned about PTSD in Decepticons. So I thought that was, a really interesting reversal for Soundwave.
Well, and they kept the headband, which when the BotCon toy came out, they did include a soft good headband that you could tie around the head of the figure.
Oh, interesting.
So I remember that was like a big deal that year at BotCon.
All right. Well, that is our review of Transformers Shattered Glass number 3. So let's move on to media news.
All right. In media news this week, well, we would have had some new G1 posters announced, but it has been silently canceled between when it was announced and now. And this would have been by the More Art Gallery with art by Juan Ramos. But when the images of these prints went up, a number of Transformer fans, I think it was started off by Dave Willis, but a number of other fans were like, hey, I took a picture that was used in this. And basically, for reference, the artist used a bunch of photos he saw online. It was approved by Hasbro, but then essentially it's, I don't know if it's traced or maybe just, putting it in Photoshop and working around it. I mean, the actual image looks really cool, but every character in the image is pretty much someone else's toy photography, both official and third-party figures. And, that's not really cool. To their credit, the More Art Gallery did respond to the criticism on Twitter. And like what I was seeing with a lot of the conversations, they were very civil on both sides. And I didn't see any official cancellation, but, all the Twitter and Instagram posts are gone. And you can't find it on their website at all anymore. So I guess good on the More Art Gallery for deciding not to sell something that had a lot of stolen artwork kind of put together by this other artist. And, hopefully they will go to either, fan artists or, IDW artists. I mean, there's so many, like we were just talking about a little while ago, there's so many good artists in the Transformers community that can do some amazing work. And even this artist that Juan Ramos that did this, I was looking at some of his other stuff. He's done lots of amazing, pieces, but I don't know why this one was done like that. I mean, Transformers are hard to draw, like we talked about earlier, but this is just, something we hadn't really seen in a while. Apollo, as an artist yourself, do you have any comments on on the story?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I have a lot of comments. So, I haven't been on social media as much, but I did see this, pop up, and this is just really frustrating as an artist. Seeing this is just this is blatant plagiarism. Like, it's one thing if you're referencing something, and if it has certain licenses for being used as references, which you do need the check for that when you use references that are not your own. Right. If you can actually use them as references, for art, it's just, this whole thing is a mess. Like, it's really upsetting. There are so many talented Transformers fans and artists that don't do this kind of thing and could create original work that actually looks good. Like, even when I saw these original posters come out, I saw so many problems with just how the, figures in there were angled, and that's because, they just photoshopped this and then painted over it. That's what I'm guessing.
Because the angles were from photographs.
Yeah. So, I hope, I don't know what they're going to do in regards to with the artists that did this, I hope they don't hire this person to do any more art. This is a disaster. There's so many talented artists they can use. And, I'm really grateful for the community, the Transformers community, for calling this out, because, this is, it's just, I really, artists always kind of get stuff done to them. A lot of the time your art's put on t-shirts without permission or used in ways that you didn't agree to with your client. And so, and I hope they don't sell these, and it sounds like they're not going to, the gallery's not going to sell these. which is good, but they need to hire some of the, official artists who can render artwork and original artwork that's not copying other people's photos and art.
Yeah, definitely. And like one of the last posts on Twitter I saw between, I can't remember who the Transformers fan was, but the gallery and this fan like was kind of just a list of a bunch of artists, and the gallery was like, we also have, contacts with IDW and stuff. So kind of, I'm hopeful that anything they do in the future, because they do have a deal with Hasbro for Transformers art. Hopefully they are using, more either fandom or like, professional Transformers artists. Cause I think that would just, make it that much more popular. You can picture like an Alex Milne print that does some of these things, like, the glow in dark or holographic prints that they do. I think they would just sell like crazy. It would be awesome. All right. Well, moving on, we have another Rise of the Beast update. There are some images and information of the vehicles that they were in Callao, Peru. Or Callao, I am sorry. It's a city where the main port in Peru is. And we have images of Optimus Prime, Scourge, Battletrap, and Mirage. And it's just there's some interior shots of the vehicles, and it's just some cool images. Still, we have no other details on the plot and stuff. But just more images. And again, the movie is now slated to come out June 9th, 2023. So we're in for a long wait. But I think that is all we have here for movie news or media news.
All right, and we will finish up the show with convention news.
All right, I just wanted to again just note the announcement for TFCon's 20th anniversary next year. It will be TFCon 2022 or TFCon Toronto 2022 will be July 9th through 11th, 2022, and celebrating their 20th anniversary. So that's really cool. And I'm happy that they're back to a summer date. And obviously the one that just ended had to move because of COVID issues in the summer. So I am hoping that next year things are starting to return back to normal, and we will be able to have that July convention again. So looking forward to it. And glad to see TFCon's back in the swing of things.
Yep. Hopefully we can make it up there and be together again. We'll see. All right. Well, that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Again, we want to thank Apollo for joining us this week. Thanks for coming on, and tell everyone where they can find your stuff online.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys about Transformers. So you can find me on social media at RoboApollo on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also a member of this Discord server. So if you want to talk Transformers, just say hi. I am going to be tabling at TFCon Los Angeles in March as an artist in Artist Alley. So I will be opening up traditional commissions soon. I'm thinking in like a week or so. So please follow my social media accounts and to find out when I'll be announcing that.
All right. Yeah. So if you are going to get to TFCon LA next March, look up RoboApollo. All right. Well, that takes us to the end of Transmissions Alt Mode. We always end the show by giving a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatreons. So thank you again to John 4X Levengood, Dinobot Maximize, Demon Tech 82, and Septimus Solvane. You guys are awesome. Thank you for continuing to support the show at its highest level, at our highest level. And another way to help out the show would be to buy some merchandise from our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. You can get all our shirt designs, masks, other merchandise, all at TeePublic. If you buy anything from TeePublic through our link, that will help out the show. So just go to transmissionspodcast.com/shop and check it out. All right, so that does it for this week's episode. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.